Well, there's no free money, except for once in a while, there's some free grants. We're going to talk about that today. If you're buying your first home in Los Angeles, there's a program you want to know about. This is our weekly home buyer seminar. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate, along with a good friend and colleague,
Patricia Castillo.
and our good friend and colleague and lender.
Shan Linder, how's it going, guys?
How's it going? And so, free grants sounds good. What could be wrong with that? Tell us about it, Patricia.
Yes. So this is a really exciting program that I've talked about before, and it's for LA County only. So this is sponsored by the Neighborhood Housing Services of LA County, and Shannon's going to go into more of the details about it. But it is a $35,000 down payment grant that you can use towards your closing costs and also towards your down payment. There are some criteria to qualify for. And one of the most important things, people get really excited about free money, not having to pay the money back. In fact, I did a TikTok video explaining the Greenline Home Program, and I had multiple calls from it. And once people start hearing about the criteria, they kind of pull back a little bit. But you have to figure if you're getting $35,000 towards the purchase of your first home, there has to be some skin in the game, right? You can't get a free lunch, as they say. But it's a really great program. The program doesn't have a start and end date like the California Dream for All, for example. This program, the funds are replenished. It's a first come, first serve basis. And so the most important thing that you need to know as a home buyer is to be prepared, because you can imagine there's so many people applying for this program. And I don't say that to to discourage you from applying for it, but you do need a team behind you to get you through this application process. And that's where we come in, is guiding you through this process, because we want you to get accepted, and you have to be ready with all of your documents. So if this is you're going to get a full loan approval. So you have to have your taxes ready, your pay stubs ready, your bank statements, and credit pulling, and all of that good stuff. So, Shannon, you're going to take us into some of the criteria that a home buyer would need. And this is for somebody that's ready to apply for the program and start looking for a home today, because the funds will be available on a first come, first served basis, as I mentioned. But you also have to identify a property before you can even ask for the funds to use towards your transaction. So, Shannon, what are some of the things that a buyer would need in order to qualify for this $35,000 home buyer grant?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So one, it goes without saying, you need to get qualified by a lender, right? They're not going to finance 100% of it, so you still got to get pre-qualified. That's something that I do want to emphasize. You can't just go to this program and then they give you everything you need. So that's number one. Number two, they do say you need to be a first-time home buyer. What that really means is you haven't owned a home or have interest in a property in the last 3 years. So that does affect people that do co-sign, right? Because that means you have had interest in a property. So again, you must be a first-time home buyer. Obviously, you must live in LA County, which we're a big county, right? I don't think that should be too much of an issue. Unfortunately, they don't allow duplexes, triplexes. I get so many people asking me, "Oh, I want to use down payment assistance, and I want to buy a duplex or a triplex or a fourplex and use that rental income." And this is so, it doesn't work that way. A lot of these down payment assistance programs, majority of them, I would say at least 90 to 95%, want you to buy a single family condo or townhouse. You have to live there for 3 years. And the reason why is because they're going to put a lien on the property for that 35,000 for the first 3 years. So that means if you do sell, you're going to have to pay back that 35,000 within the 3 years. After the 3 years, the lien comes off. Okay. And the other thing is you have to contribute at least 3% of, like Patricia says, of your own funds, because again, there are no free lunches. Technically, it is free because that down payment is going towards your property. You're not paying them. You're paying down payments for your own one. So yeah, that's a good there's something to notice. Obviously,
So
to
that
you also.
so that
Go
would
ahead.
be more of a conventional financing, right? If you're putting down 3%, I think that that's one thing to mention also is that it's paired. The grant is paired with a conventional loan and not necessarily an FHA loan.
Exactly. So that's a good thing to notice. And obviously, too, they're going to have education classes that need to take place. That goes, honestly, everyone has those education requirements as well. The other thing, too, is there are income limits. So the income limits for this property, for this program, for first one person, it's 105,000, two, 121,000, three, 136, and four, 151. And it goes on and on and on from there. Now you can have up to 7 people on there, which I've never in my life had 7 borrowers on one loan. But hey, the option is there for you, and this is gross income, by the way. So, Bill, you're muted.
Yeah, and the other
Is that
thing is you mentioned you can't use it for a duplex or triplex or multifamily, but the program can be used in addition to single family residences. It can be used for condominiums or townhomes.
Yeah.
when it says household, could it be mother, father, like a 5, could it be mother, father, and 3 kids?
Well, this is households with, from my understanding, people that have the income. I think it's 18 and up. Anyone who's got a
Oh,
job, things like that. I don't
okay.
think kids. I don't think kids are qualified. But I can double check on that because usually when they're counting this, they're counting working people with a lot of these down payment assistance.
Got it.
You know, or anyone who's over. I think because if you're over 18 and you're not working, that's the one thing I do have to say is like, I I have to figure out, hey, which I haven't honestly, thankfully, I haven't had that where there is a 20 something year old in the house that isn't working that's going to move in. So thankfully, I know it's out there, but I've never encountered that myself. So yeah, and let me see what else. And then yes, Patricia did say this is the rare thing is you do have to have the property under contract. That's kind of a little bit more unique thing about this program is you do have to have a property accounted for. I haven't heard, because I do know a few people that have closed these, I haven't heard anyone getting under contract and not being able to get these funds reserved, right? I haven't heard that happen yet, but in order for you to apply for the program, you do need a fully executed contract, loan approval, taxes, income. You do need all the documentation, including a fully executed contract. So just be on the lookout for that. Okay.
Right. And it must be their primary residence as well.
Exactly. You have to live there. You can't be a rental property that you're doing. And yeah, and it is a grant. I know a lot of these we're talking about are down payment assistance programs. There's interest involved. You have to pay it back. This one, as long as you live there for at least 3 years, you don't have to pay it back. This is a true grant for you.
Beautiful.
Right.
So yeah, that's the beautiful thing about this program, and it's pretty straightforward. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. I know some people have stacked, like Patricia says, stacked on other down payment assistance programs onto there. So that's the benefit of having a good team is, hey, what else? What other resources can we pull in together? And tying back to our seminar last week. This is just another great opportunity for people that are in a buyer's market, because when people hear and see down payment assistance programs, grants on a pre-approval, that's usually a scarlet letter, right? For a lot of these sellers who especially they want to close quick, they want to close fast, but just the nature of these down payment assistance programs, it's more red tape, more paperwork, sometimes more time. But this is your time to actually utilize these services and still be competitive in this market, because if you qualify, and again, I always say never try to qualify for 0% down. So, you know, me and Patricia and Bill were talking offline, but hey, if you have no money, you know, this isn't a call for you to get a property, because again, I always say this all the time, even if you're using down payment assistance program, and for those out there who do have the 3% down, who do have the 6% down, still look into these programs. A lot of smart people still utilize these funds and keep some money in their pocket, because might need furniture, you're gonna need appliances, you're gonna need reserves, you're gonna need these things. So I don't want you to think, oh, down payment assistance programs are for low income people that have no money. That is not the
Right.
case. Just because even the nature of this program, you still need funds down. So maybe we'll talk about that later. But there are, and maybe we'll do a class on that. Hey, what are some costs post buying a house, right? So you can expect, so you can know what to expect when it comes to the expenses. So again, we're in California, we're in Los Angeles County, Southern California. There are so many programs out there that we're just going to keep flooding you guys with. You have CalHAFA, you have, there's this Greenline program, there's a LIPA and MIPA. There's so many of them that we're going to be talking about, and it's just one of them that you can, again, stack on another program. So
Yeah, and this program for the grant, it does have a maximum purchase price of 750,000, which is pretty, I would say, more first time buyer market friendly, right? So
yeah,
if you're upgrading, if you're a buyer and you're gonna sell your home to upgrade to another home, this program wouldn't apply for you because you wouldn't be considered a first time buyer. But if you are a first time buyer, haven't owned a home before, your max purchase price would be 750,000. You can buy a single family home or a condominium, and if you're already approved with a lender, or if you'd like to get just an estimate on what you could possibly qualify for, then Shannon can help you with that, and we can do that without pulling your credit. So that's the beauty of talking to us, is we can give you an estimate of what you can qualify for without actually running your credit. And the other thing is the 35,000 is available until the funds run out. We wouldn't know that the funds have run out until we actually send in your pre-approval. We send in the purchase agreement, the escrow instructions. So it's a full package that gets sent to the down payment assistance program. And so then they look at it and they see what they have left in the pool of funds, so that they can give us the voucher for your $35,000. Let's just say if the program had already run out of money, you also have to be prepared to not receive the $35,000, right? So we say that up front because our goal is to get you the $35,000, but you can't be counting on that money to use towards your closing costs if you don't actually have closing costs available now in your account, in your checking account, because you may get the money, you may not. So you have to be prepared to not get the funds, but that's the financial scenario that we will look at for you and provide you an analysis. And let's say you get the $35,000, that's just the icing on the cake for you.
yeah, and I mean, you're gonna have to put 3% down anyway. FHA, you're gonna have to put 3.5% down. So what I would do if I were you guys is get qualified for FHA or conventional, and count these 35 towards your closing costs. I would say don't let it be the end all be all. Just hopefully that money can be going towards, again, whatever your closing costs are, and a little bit of your down payment, because you can use these 35,000 for your down payment or your closing costs. So, this one is interchangeable. Some of them, they just let you do down payment, but this one can be used for down payment and or closing costs. So if you're gonna have to put 3% down anyway, you might as well put that towards your equity, put that down towards your down payment, and let the 35,000 pay for the closing costs, the junk fees, and whatever's left, then you can add that to your down payment.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it's a great program.
Right.
Yeah.
This program's only for people who don't really need the money by definition. But it's a windfall if you get it. So if you're working, and you can only apply for it once you're under contract. So if you're under contract, or you get under contract with Patricia or Shannon, make sure you ask about this program. And if you're looking to buy something, move quickly, and you might make an extra $35,000, save an extra $35,000.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Or, you could, I'm thinking maybe if you could stack these on, we could probably see if you can add in CalHAFA onto it, and then have this as another layer on top of it. So yeah, that's another option we can work out. But again, reach out to us. This is what we're here for as your team of professionals, is to see what's the best program for you. But again, down payment and down payment funds should not be an excuse why you shouldn't buy a house. especially in this market today.
That's right. This is a really good time to apply for
Yeah.
something like this.
And I always say, with banks, and this is another program, there's always three pillars, right? There's credit, income, and down payment, right? Usually you have to have two that are very strong, and the other one, we could supplement with something else. So I'll give you an example of this program. You have the income, you have the credit, you just need help with down payment, right? That's not a problem. You have a big down payment and you have great FICO score, but maybe your income is shoddy, right? It's up and down. You're self-employed. There are programs for you that you just have to put more down, and they will not look at your tax returns. They won't look at a lot of your income documentation, right? Let's say you have good income and you have a lot of money to put down. You might be able to afford a lower FICO score program, right? If FHA goes down to 580. And so, hey, that one can be a little weaker. So as long as you have two that are very strong, the third one, you could suffice with something else. So that's always my general rule of thumb. Out of the three, you have to have two that are very strong.
Yeah, so there's many opportunities available right now for first-time home buyers. And right now, when we see homes that are sitting on the market for a little bit longer, this is a really great time to get seller concessions. So thinking about all of the money that you're saving by utilizing the down payment assistance programs and possibly getting a seller concession towards your closing costs as well.
Yeah. And
or
Patricia,
you can have price reduction.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too. Maybe this is a personal question that I have. When you have a client that has down payment assistance or qualified for down payment assistance, and you're looking at a property that maybe is a little bit stale, is the strategy to, hey, let's just offer full price since we are down payment assistance and try to get some closing on the back end? Or do you think even if they do have down payment assistance that they're working with, they could still negotiate the price as well? How does that work with someone? Let's say I want to do this program and have down payment assistance. Am I expected to still pay full price for a property, or is there still negotiating room? As a person again who's not putting all their money on as a down payment.
There's always room to negotiate, I would say, but it also depends on the market conditions. So we look at the comparables. I mean, the market can change tomorrow. We could see a similar property sell tomorrow for higher, for lower. So we would use that as leverage as well.
Nice. I love what you first said. Everything's negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's negotiable. So as you see, guys, I mean, there's opportunity screaming in your face. There's funds out there available. There's money out there available. There's agents like Patricia who are ready to negotiate for you. So again, this is the time to strike 100%.
Strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah. And the funds are there.
And the weather's hot.
Yeah.
Sometime in Southern California.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else do you have going on?
Well, let's see. I know we've been staying pretty busy, pretty consistently. I closed an escrow yesterday. Have those 2 listings. I have a couple of other listings that I'm working on as well. So it's a busy time right now. Busy time.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah. Same here.
A bunch come on the market, and the truth is, on sellers who have to sell, if the market's a little softer, they're going to reprice it to sell. And so I think for buyers, for sure, when you hear the news that sales are down, that's time to jump in, because it just means there's less competition and you get what you want. So we're here to help.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
That's right.
This is for sure. I think it's a buyer's market. I'm seeing so much more flexibility on the seller's side. They're being very nice to me. That's a good sign. That's a buyer's market sign when listing agents are nice to lenders.
I'm always nice to I'm nice to lenders. They perform. Now I will admit that when the lender doesn't do their job, I can be tough, but that's my job, right? But there's a lender I would deal with I told the lender from the beginning, you're not going to be able to do this deal. What are you doing? It was a property that needed special financing, and it was a kind of conventional loan. And I told him, I was polite. We got him everything he wanted, but I said, I know your company. You guys are really good at what you do. This is just not your lane. This is a hard money loan. And he went all the way to the end, and they were trying to put pressure on me to make major concessions to get the property in shape where the seller didn't want you didn't have to. And the next lender stepped up. I'm like his best friend. He's texting me for all the things the escrow's not doing and the buyer's agents aren't doing. So I'll be your best friend, Shannon, as long as you perform. Now, if you don't perform, it could be difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, nice in the initial calls. Usually, when they're putting in offers, and I'm having to call the agent and kind of not plead my case, but just to let them know, hey, they're qualified. I've noticed now they're just much more receptive. Okay, everything's good. How are things? Instead of what's going on with this? What's up with this? Are you sure you can do like the tone is just very different now when I'm having those initial offer. I call them offer calls, right? It's when an agent puts an offer, I usually like to call and let them know, hey, this is the situation with this buyer, and
that's so important.
100%. 100%.
I'm always. It's funny. I find the opposite. I will never consider an offer on behalf of my seller without talking to the lender, and I find them hard to get a hold of. It's really. I think, why would you not call back the listing agent? We're literally deciding whether or not to accept the offer with your client's financing. If you don't, I don't want to make me happy, but you don't meet the standard of service, we're not going into escrow. And smart ones do. I mean, to me, that hasn't changed in 40 years in the business. That's the same fundamental difference. Is the mortgage officers who get the business, ones who call the listing agent back and talk to them.
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, so any open houses we can, Patricia, or what do you got going on? You sold your house in West Covina.
Yes, that was sold yesterday. So, yay!
I feel like that was our child together. We had it. You were getting it was coming soon, and you had it first. You had the open houses.
Right.
Filled out. You had it again. You repushed it, and it closed. Yay! Like we had a baby.
Right.
Good job.
It takes some work to sell property right now. It's not a thing where you're just gonna put the sign in the yard and it's gonna sell itself. So you really have to work at it.
Yeah.
So yes, we are excited. It's closed. My client is excited. And so we're moving on to the next transactions. But yes, if anybody wants to reach me, I'm at 323-365-9909.
Great. And Shannon, what's up with you? How people reach you?
You can reach me and myself, 661-317-8484, or my Instagram, FUND Fund with Shannon.
Fantastic. I'm Bill Gross, at Bill Gross Probate and social media. If I can help, reach out. We do this we have a new episode drops every Friday. If you have questions, put questions in the chat box. Love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Reach out to us. Make today your best day ever. Thanks so much, everybody.
All right.